Hi there, this is Tata, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Friday, April 21st, 2023, which means tonight I will only be talking about Friday Night SmackDown as AEW Rampage is not on today. Alright, so tonight's SmackDown kicked off with the LWO in the form of Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar versus the Judgment Day in the form of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So this was actually a really good match. I actually really enjoyed this match. This was a good match. I really enjoyed this match, but just like every other Judgment Day match, Judgment Day comes out on top after Damian Priest hits the South of Heaven to Santos Escobar. Now, if I have to say, my one complaint about this is that the LWO, ever since it was formed, has been taking nothing but L's. I get that you need to make Judgment Day look strong, but you could give a win or two to LWO. Even when they were Legado del Fantasma, they didn't do much. So I don't know where this is going to go. Maybe it'll lead a heel turn to Santos Escobar and he'll feud with Rey Mysterio after this. But right now, LWO not looking so good. So at the end of the match, Damian Priest cuts a promo and he says that para su amigo, this Monday live from Chicago, it's the return of Bad Bunny. And he says that he hopes Benito's visit goes differently than last time. If you guys remember, on the Raw after Mania, Damian Priest put Bad Bunny through the announce table. I was there at that Raw, and it was actually really cool to see that spot live. This is followed up with the Zelina Vega's Backstage Summit, in which she approaches Adam Pearce about potentially facing Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's title in Puerto Rico. As Zelina Vega points out, she's the only female Boricua, and she wants to compete in Puerto Rico. Later on in the night, it is announced that it will be Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's title. We get a backstage segment with Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and Karrion Kross is talking about his tarot cards, and out comes Scarlett, and she's holding tarot cards from the different Karrion Kross feuds that she's had with McIntyre, Madcap Moss, Rey Mysterio. He explains how all three of those men had something taken from them, and they plan to take away Nakamura's honor. So the fact that he's using tarot cards kind of reminds me of Taylor Wilde from Impact Wrestling. She also uses tarot cards. Next, we get Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders. This was actually a good match. I enjoyed this match. You had Ricochet take out the Viking Raiders. You had, this spot I thought was actually pretty cool. You had Braun Strowman do a drop kick to Eric. I never ever seen Braun Strowman attempt a drop kick before. Braun Strowman and Ricochet are victorious after he uses Braun Strowman as a launch pad to do an elevated swanton bomb onto Ivar. So I was actually kind of hoping the Viking Raiders would win this, just because I feel like they should be the next contenders for those tag titles. I talked about this before. Their push has been stopped and started so many times, and I honestly feel sorry for them. I hope that they do get a push and they do eventually challenge for those tag titles. And with the draft being next week, I'm assuming the tag titles are going to get split. So after this, we get the women's tag title match. It is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. This was a decent match. I'm not surprised Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were victorious here. I wasn't expecting them to lose those tag titles in their first title defense. And Chelsea Green is just doing phenomenal work. I'm really happy that she's excelling in WWE. Next, we get the Intercontinental title match. It is Gunther versus Xavier Woods. I have to say, I was really impressed by Xavier Woods in this match. He certainly held his own against Gunther. I mean, he was throwing chops at Gunther. He hit him with a leg drop. He kicked him in the face. He held his own against Gunther, and I think Xavier Woods did a really good job holding his own against Gunther. He didn't go down without a fight. You know, this wasn't a squash match. Xavier Woods went down swinging. I mean, Gunther put him in a sleeper twice, and it was due to the second sleeper that Gunther actually was victorious in this match. But incredible match. Even though Xavier Woods lost, I think he did a fantastic job. There was just kind of promo talking about how people have been asking them how they've been feeling ever since they lost at WrestleMania. They ask them if they're sad, if they're angry, and they say they don't know how to feel. And they had a big 6-man tag match at Backlash. And the next week is not just a rematch. It's not just any kind of rematch. It's a WrestleMania rematch. It's a 9-time tag team champs rematch. And then they say that the Riddle is going to get bodied just like Sami Zayn and KO will be next week. So I had to say, I know they have a big 6-man tag match. I honestly think the Usos are going to lose here, but I don't think anything's going to happen to the Usos here. I think that if anything happens to the Usos, it'll be at Backlash. Now, I would think the Usos lose next week and then go on to lose at Backlash. And then probably Roman Reigns will punish them for that loss. Could you imagine Solo Sikoa doing the Samoan spike to the Usos? And Paul Heyman did allude to the fact that Roman Reigns was growing impatient with the Usos. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if the Usos fail to regain those tag titles next week and if they go on to lose at Backlash. The main event was a no DQ match between Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa. So right away, Solo Sikoa finds 2 kendo sticks underneath the ring, and he hits Matt Riddle in the back with the kendo stick. You get Matt Riddle doing a running knee, and then he sends Solo Sikoa into the steel steps. You have Solo Sikoa hitting the Samoan drop to Matt Riddle. You have Matt Riddle throwing a steel chair at Solo. You have Matt Riddle whacking Solo Sikoa with the kendo stick, and then he hits him in the chair in the midsection. You got Matt Riddle putting Solo Sikoa through steel chairs. Now, you have Solo dropping Matt Riddle on the ring apron and then sending him over the announce table. Then you have Solo trying to tip the announce table over onto Matt Riddle, but Matt Riddle stops him by holding up the announce table with his feet. And then in a twist of fate, Matt Riddle is the one that buries Solo Sikoa under the announce table, so he gets his revenge from that. Afterwards, the Usos attack Matt Riddle. Of course, remember, it's a no DQ match, so there's no disqualifications. As the Usos attack Matt Riddle, Solo Sikoa rises from the rubble. Solo Sikoa attempts a Samoan spike, but he misses. You have Matt Riddle hitting Solo Sikoa with the flash knee, and then Solo Sikoa hits the Samoan spike to Matt Riddle, and he is victorious. And then at the end, the Usos hit a 1D to Matt Riddle through a table, and they stand tall to close off Friday Night SmackDown. We also have 3 matches announced for Backlash. We had Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega for the SmackDown Women's title, and I'm hoping that's not a squash match. I hope Zelina does get some offense in that match. Even though I know she's going to lose, I hope she looks like a star losing. We got Austin Theory versus Bronson Reed versus Bobby Lashley for the United States title. That should be a good match. But that match is probably being used to set up a feud between Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. And then we get the most random match of all time. Seth freaking Rollins versus Almost? Really? I'm pretty sure that was a Vince McMahon call. That's not a match I want to see. That's not a match I thought I would see. I wonder if this is like Rollins' punishment for walking out on Raw a couple weeks ago. Let me know what you think of those matches. But with that being said, that concludes this review. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And if you haven't already done so, please check out my Power Rangers Once and Always review. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.